This is my cutting area for our Kehinde Wiley inspired portraits. So we need to cut these down, these papers and things down to 4 by 4 inches. That's the size we're using. You could obviously use any size you like, but it seems to be manageable. And I have students cutting, black squares, white squares, even cardboard, so that we can give each square its kind of different treatment as we pull together this gridded portrait. So I have a previous video that's showing how to spray mount a thin image onto thicker paper. And I set up my cutting board with some blue tape so that we see the 4-inch mark right away. We talk about safety with these. We never let our fingers go past this little safety bar, and whenever it's not in use, we go ahead and lock it. So I want to cut out a 4-inch piece of this. So I've got my blue tape, and I can kind of see from one side to the other where it is that I want it to show. I line up with the grid so we keep everything square, and I can go ahead and cut out this section. I can line it up with the blue tape, and it goes fairly quickly. When we're going this way, I line it up with the grid, and I can line up with the blue tape. Now this does become waste, so it's handy to keep a trash can kind of nearby. This paper we can use again, maybe mount something else to it. I do have a little note here for my students so that we can help each other out. If you're cutting one square, maybe cut a few. Now, let's say I want to give this one a special kind of a treatment. So maybe these colors are too vivid for what I want to do with my square. Well, there's a little trick we can do. If you can get a hold of block out white, you can even use gesso, that will work for this. Just put a tiny drop on top of the image, and then using a soft brush, we can brush over that so that we can still see the image, but it's not quite as vibrant, and then it kind of adds some background interest to the individual square. The blockout white or gesso will also make a nice surface to draw on, so you can still do things like pencil, pen, whatever on top, but by lightening up the surface of the image, we still get a little hint of it, but we can still use this for one of our squares in our portrait work. Right? So there's a few tips for you for our Kehinde Wiley inspired portraits.